UFC 320 predictions from a casual. Let's get into it. I'm going to be going purely off of vibes. Now, I do watch the UFC. I know a little bit. I don't know a lot. A lot of you guys watching this video probably might know more. UFC 320 predictions from a casual. Let's get into it. We're going to be starting off at the early prelims, and honestly, we're really going to be just going off of vibes and their face shots because I haven't seen a lot of these people compete. We got Veronica Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Brogan Walker looks tough. She's 37. She's got a 3-inch reach advantage. She's 7-4-0. Veronica Hardy is 9-5-1, so pretty similar-ish records, but 3 inches of reach, that helps. That definitely helps. You know, at 5'3", a 67-inch reach, that's pretty rangy. That's what, a 4-inch apex, something like that. I'm going to go Brogan Walker. I think she's going to get the job done here. Okay, now some of these names in certain countries are hard to pronounce. We've got a welterweight matchup. Razmi Brahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. It's a welterweight bout. These are two short welterweights. Well, short-ish. You know, I've seen shorter welterweights, but Ramiz is 5'8" with a 72-inch reach, and Austin is 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. So they both have massive apexes. And in apex, what that means is your height minus your reach. And both of these guys are +4, which is kind of insane because the average is like 0.5 to 1. Ramiz is 12-5. Austin is 13-2. I feel like this is a Ramiz decision. Ramiz feels like he's a good wrestler. I don't know why. Maybe it's the last name. That's not even really a Russian last name. That's probably more Indian, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I've got Ramiz by decision, 29-28. Now, we have, oh boy, we've got Ponhil Soronano versus Nikola Vertinaka. I definitely botched. I hope none of these people see this video because they might want to fight me for how bad I'm mispronouncing the name. 11-4 versus 13-6. You know, both these are older guys, 32 and 35. Nicola, he's got a Y at the end of his name. I've never seen anything like that. 6'1", 74-inch reach. He's pretty rangy. But Paulina is UFC 320 predictions from a certified casual. Let's get into it. We're going to be starting midway through on the prelims, the early prelims, and we're going to go just off vibes and just kind of my Mystic Mac predictions. So we're going to be starting out with Patchy Mix, who I have seen fight, versus Jacob Wiklaksk. And we don't have much information on Jacob. We have no face of him. We know he's 135 pounds. He's fighting at bantamweight. He's got to be 135. We don't know his height. We don't know his reach. I don't know how that's possible. He's 16-3-2. And Patchy Mix is 20-2. And I've already seen him fight and lose. Jacob feels like a guy that can get to decisions. You know, he's got 2 ties or no contest. He's got 3 losses, 16 wins. We don't even have a picture of him. How can you prepare as Patchy Mix to fight a guy where you don't even know what he looks like? I think Patchy Mix will take 1 round off with the wrestling. I'm feeling a 29-28 victory from Jacob. But I don't know what he looks like. Now, we've got a women's bantamweight matchup. We've got Macy Chazan, and she looks scary. I will tell you that. Macy looks scary. She's got a manly haircut. I wouldn't want to fight her. And we've got Yana Santos. She's 16-8, 1 no contest. And Macy is taller by 4 inches and has 4 inches of reach, which I think in women's MMA matters a lot more than men's MMA. In men's MMA, I would say that they're more skill dependent to a degree. Obviously physicality matters a lot in men's MMA, but I think skill matters a little bit more in men's MMA, and just pure physicality matters more in WMMA. I'm going to go Macy. I think Macy gets a KO. I think we're going to see a women's knockout on the early prelims. So you got to start watching early. Now we're on the prelims, officially on the prelims. This is where it's going to get good. We've got a featherweight matchup between Daniel Santos and Jo Song. 13-2 versus 9-0. They are both 5'6", but Jo Sang has a 71.5 inch reach advantage. Well, not advantage, that would be absurd. A 4.5 inch reach advantage. And for some reason, I obviously reach matters, and everything looks identical. They're the same age, they're the same height, they're the same weight. I think Daniel Santos gets it done. I think he does. I think Daniel Santos gets it done. And you guys, to be clear, should be parlaying all these picks together. All of them. All of them exactly. Alright, we got a bantamweight bout. Chris Gutierrez versus Farid Basharat. And I have seen Farid fight, and I was impressed. Look, he's 13-0. How can you not be impressed? Competition hasn't been great. Presumably, this is a step up in competition. I don't know who Chris Gudurizmi is, so I don't know if it's a step up in competition. I'm going to go Farid. I think Farid takes it to 14-0. And yes, how does he get it done? I think Farid gets a submission. I think he does. Alrighty, at middleweight, we've got Idam Shabazain versus Andre Muzin. And this middleweight matchup, we have some long, rangy strikers. Muzin has a 78-inch reach. That's crazy. And Edman isn't too shabby himself, 75-inch reach. So we've got two physical specimens. Both these guys have taken a lot of losses, though. Andre has taken 7 losses. Edam has taken 5. It's a lot of damage, a lot of wear and tear. I think both these guys will be conservative. This is a big matchup for them. They're looking to get inside the top 15, each of them. I think Edam takes him to decision. I think Edam gets it done there. Now at middleweight, we have Atiba Guateler, 8-1. He looks fierce. Versus Ozzy Diaz, 10-3. Doesn't look as fierce. Both 6'3", 185, massive reaches again, 81 inches and 79 inches. These are rangy fighters. Atiba is 23 years old in the middleweight division. He better be good. He's one fight away from the main card. If there's an injury, he's going to be on it. And I think he gets it done. I think UFC wants this young up-and-comers. I think they need them to win. They're going to will them to win. If it's a decision, they're going to make sure he gets it done. But I think he will win inside the distance. And now onto the main card. And this is where the predictions are going to get very precise and correct. All these other predictions, they're correct. Obviously, I'm making them. But this is where it gets serious. And we have Abuspian Magomedov. I know how to pronounce Magomedov because, duh, everybody does. Versus Joe Pyfer. Look, I've never seen Abuspian fight. I'm going to go Joe Pyfer. I've seen him fight. He looks solid to me. I think Joe Pyfer gets it done. I think he wobbles him and then he gets a submission. Now we've got Josh Emmett versus Yusuf Zala, and I've seen both these guys fight. And Josh Emmett, he's a compact dude. He is a compact dude. I will say that. He is scary. And look, he's taken some losses, obviously, but outside of the elite guys in his division, I think everybody else's power is just too much for his speed, his technicality, his skill. Outside of those top guys, I think Emmett's going to win by KO or just the mutilation. Now, here on to the big fights, the big three. We've got Yuri versus Khalil Roundtree. And this is an interesting matchup. Interesting matchup because on face value, we saw both of these guys have the same opponent in Alex Pereira and Khalil. Well, they both got knocked out. But Khalil looked much better on the feet. So doing MMA math, you would say, okay, well, they both fought Pereira and Yuri fought him twice, and it didn't look good in either of them. But it's not as simple as greater than and then greater than. It's more like a triangle, and I think Yuri's going to knock him out. I think Yuri is going to knock out Khalil Roundtree. With what specific punch? I don't know, and I don't think Yuri knows either. We got Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. Look, I want to tell you that Corey Sandhagen has a chance because whenever you're watching these big fights, you want to assume the underdog can win. We all do. It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. Merab is going to dominate. He could probably pick whichever way he wants to win. Dominant decision, knockout, submission. Merab can do whatever he wants. Final fight of the night. We got Magomed versus Pereira Part 2. And look, I've already made a video on this saying that I feel like Pereira is going to get the win. And I still feel like Pereira is going to get the win. I think Pereira gets it done in one and triggers a trilogy, which I do think Magomed will end up winning the trilogy, but I think Pereira gets it done.